G'day there guys, Markee here, back at it again with another episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. Now if you don't work here lady, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Posted by user Waffle Raven, titled, Woman Berates Me at 3 AM for not doing my job. So, I was working at a supermarket doing night fill, stocking shelves after hours. One night, we ran super late as we were short-staffed. I didn't finish till about 2:30 AM. After I left, the only place open for food was a 24/7 fuel station across the road that had a Subway. So I said hi to the staff because I was regular and got my sub and put my headphones in while I ate. I was just kind of zoning out as I just finished a 9-hour shift, so I was a little slow. A woman came in and went up to the fuel counter. The server was not there. It was 3 AM, they have a bunch of other jobs to do out back, and they have a buzzer on the counter. So she's obviously seen me and moves closer. I'm oblivious, listening to my audiobook. I look up when she is towering over me, glaring. She says something, and I take my headphones out. Sorry? I don't mean to interrupt you. Okay. Now she's glaring full force. I need you to do your job. I don't care if you're on break. What? I'm still foggy. I need you to get off your ass and do your job, she screams. Finally, I get what's going on. I lean back and point to my shirt logo. Mate, I don't work here. I'm from the supermarket across the road. Oh, don't give me that bullcrap. I'm in a hurry. Now do your job. By now, the server has come back to check on the noise and says, hey, my name, is everything okay? I don't know, ask her. She does an actual double take. She goes a bit red but rallies herself and glares at me again. She pays for her stuff and then in a loud as hell stage whisper says, what's he doing here at this time of night? Suspicious if you ask me. Then she leaves. The server shakes his head and we laugh it off. But the best part is a few weeks later, the same scenario at the same petrol place. I'm eating but more alert. She comes in, sees me eating and goes red. I say, hey server, that crazy woman is back. I then nod at her and say, can I help you with anything, ma'am? I don't work here, but I know how upset you get with the truth, so maybe I can pretend, do some roleplay, if that would help. The server then comes out. She buys some gum and leaves, never saying a word, her face bright red. Posted by user, My Yucca is Dead, titled, Not only do I not work here, but neither does anyone else. This is my first post on here, so be nice to me if I do it wrong. A bit of background. My house used to be the village post office, and when I say used to be, I mean over 20 years ago. We bought the property 10 years ago, by which time it had been totally converted and no longer resembles a post office in any way, shape or form. The post office is now slightly further down the street in a building that has a huge post office sign on the front and looks nothing like my house. Different size, color, everything. My front door opens straight into the kitchen and is rarely locked. It's a small village and I seem to run some sort of drop-in center for my kids' friends. I was sitting eating dinner this evening with my kids when the front door opened and in walked a lady. I say, hey, can I help you with something? As I walk towards her, forcing her backwards through the open door. She says yes, I have a parcel here to send, as she tries to duck around the side of me to get in. Pardon? You've got a parcel? Yes, it's to be delivered tomorrow. Well, you'd be best taking it to the post office then, as I almost physically push her out the door onto the street. Well, obviously that's why I'm here. At which point the light bulb in my head switches on. Look, I'm sorry. This isn't the post office anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. The post office is a few doors down that way. Yes, very funny. Now, could you actually do what you're being paid for, and allow me to send my parcel? Yes, if you go to the post office, which is just down there, pointing. I'm sure they'll send your parcel for you. Now, I'm going to return to my children to finish eating my dinner. And I walked inside, closed and locked the door, all the while listening to her have a strop outside. By all accounts, she found that post office, sent her parcel, and lodged a formal complaint against me, which gave the post office staff some entertainment for the afternoon. I'm really unsure as to what she was thinking. She's not from the village, and as I say, it's a small village. And she walked into what is obviously a house with a family sitting at the table eating when she walked in. Did she think that I'd hidden the post office counter behind the fridge or something? My husband keeps wandering into the kitchen, asking me for stamps or envelopes, or just various other post office type things. That evil bastard. I love it. Posted by user Daily Special, titled, "Are you high?" Now, this happened about 2 years ago. Was 23 and inside Target just browsing. On that day, I'd smoked a few bowls, then Ubered to the store. Just casually walking around with my earbuds in when this shorter, middle-aged lady pulls out my earbud and said, "Excuse me, I was talking to you," and proceeded to rant about the youth and our lack of work ethic and blah blah blah. So I stopped her talking and asked her, "Ma'am, what the hell are you talking about?" She then gets real close to me. I'd say in my face, but I'm a 6'4" dude, and her face was about stomach high. As mentioned earlier, I did smoke. Usually, I'm pretty good at covering the smell of my clothes, but I guess my game was off that day. She caught the smell, and goddamn did she go off more, yelling about how an employee shouldn't be high at work, and that's when it clicked. I realized my red flannel and tan shorts was a bad outfit decision. At this point, 2 employees heard her yelling and came over. She turned to them and started scolding them. One of them finally got her to chill out for a second and explained how he had no idea who I was. That did very little to calm her down. Eventually, she was escorted outside with nothing from the store. The manager apologized profusely and offered me a $10 gift card. Good thing too, because I was hungry AF by that point. Posted by user Disco Discordia, titled, "Car in front of hotel does not automatically equal Uber." Now, this was about 2 years ago in Seattle. I hurt my knee, but my husband and I wanted to try a new restaurant. It didn't have a handicap entrance, but it had an entry from the attached hotel. The restaurant ended up being rather crap, and 2 hours later, my husband went to get to the car to pick me up. A black Toyota Camry hybrid. He pulled into the covered drive-thru area and texted me he was there. As I was exiting the door of the lobby, 4 guys, probably in their early 20s, opened each door of the car, front and back, and hopped in. 1 was in the front, 3 in the back. My husband calmly looked at them in the rearview mirror and said hi. Everyone just sat there for a minute until one of the guys finally went, "Oh, this isn't an Uber?" My husband said, "Nope, I'm here to pick up my wife," and pointed to me standing just outside of the car, quizzically looking at the random people who had just gotten in our car. "You probably want to check the make and model of the Uber before you get in next time," my husband added. After a lot of blushing and stammering, they all got out, apologizing the whole time. I hobbled the rest of the way to get to the passenger seat and got in. And say, "Did they think you were an Uber?" "Yep." "They should check the make and model before they get into a car." That's what I told them. So far, that's the only time that's happened. Posted by user Fake Bat Dad, titled, "Frickin' Lasers." I do work here, lady, but you're not where you think you are. For around 10 years, I worked for a laser tag company. It was a fun place to work and attracted underachievers that would stay for a long time. Pay was okay, hours were flexible, and with myself being the middle point, it went from one group of friends working together to another. An issue arose when another company opened up on the other side of town. My manager at the time left to go to the other place, with most of the other staff being made up of members and familiar faces from my place. This led to problems. The other place seemed to do pretty well for a year or so, then we started hearing things. Customers turning up for kids' parties and nobody being there. Major issues with timings, overbookings, etc. One story even involved a guy involved in the company shooting a kid with an airsoft gun. This all happened a few years ago now, so before I heard the phrase, a Karen. But this is the only word that suits this person who comes bounding up our stairs one day. My customer service spider senses are a-tingling. Her walk, and then her face, let me know that I'm in for a bad time. She says, "Where can we set up?" "Okay, madam, if I can take the name of your booking, we'll get you guys organized." "Right. I'm afraid we don't have anyone booked in under that name." This is where the fun started. The group who were actually booked in start to arrive. I gestured to my colleague that he should take the lead, as I'm going to be dealing with Karen. I managed to herd her away from the desk and into a side room where she goes off. "This is frickin' ridiculous! I made my booking with," she mentioned someone from other place, "and now you're telling me I don't have my effing booking? My kids and all our food are outside. You will fix this now." So I have a particular tone for dealing with rude customers I've termed as aggressively polite. So I look her dead in the eyes and say, "Madam, you have made your booking with Darkwing. We are Best Laser. Two totally different companies." To my utter joy, she refuses to believe this and continues to berate and insist that we host her kids' party. We must be the same company. How would I know the other place's staff names if we were not the same company, etc.? When she's in full flow, I open the door so everyone in the reception area can hear us. I look and realize it's an older group rather than kids who were there, so I raise my voice. "Madam, listen, if you walked into McDonald's and they got your order wrong, you wouldn't walk into Burger King and expect a refund, would you? Now F off." Posted by user Yuna1881, titled, "I just wanted to buy a curtain." To show you how long ago this was, I was at a Linens and Things. I was 25, but one of those who looked 16 at 25. But anyway, I had accidentally bought 2 different curtain panels and was returning one for the correct one, but they were out. I was at the register making the return when the girl found the one I was looking for in the computer system and told me to wait a sec while she went to find it. She was the only register open, but I was alone in line, so it was okay. Up walks this middle-aged white woman who stands in line behind me while I was at the register. I was playing with my car keys because I am incapable of standing still. At the time, I worked at an elementary school aftercare program, so I was dressed very casually, and even had some sidewalk chalk on my jeans still. I usually left my job a bit of a mess. The woman behind me is getting impatient and is literally tapping her toe on the ground and loud sighs. I turn to apologize because the cashier left because of me, but before I could speak, when I look at her, she just in the nastiest voice goes, "Well, aren't you going to ring me up here?" My brilliant mind was just so startled, all I could say back was, what? She carries on to say that I've just been standing there while she's waiting to pay. Remember that I am on the same side as she is, the customer side. I tell her that I don't work there, and she starts to argue with me, like rolling her eyes saying, "Oh yeah? So what are those?" She points at my car keys. Guys, in this moment, I was just so confused. A small blonde woman with chalk everywhere and a messy ponytail. I reply, they're my keys. At this point, the cashier comes back, and the woman just makes more noises of exasperation and heavy sighs, as though me and the girl at the register, who was also young at about my age, were plotting against her. I exchanged my stupid curtain and left while giving the lady a weird look. She was already glaring at the cashier though, so I wouldn't be surprised if she was a tramp to her after I left. People are weird. Posted by user Usagi Summer Uwu 123, titled, "Crazy Lady Calls Me Instead of the Police." This happened 2 years ago. My parents told me that most of those were people that tried calling the police. My parents told them, sorry, wrong number. This is the actual number. I didn't take those calls most of the time, but did I have the bad luck of taking this one? It was a lady. She sounded mid-40s, and she was angry AF. She called the police just to report some sex workers. It went something like this. Hello, I live at street, at building. There are some sex workers in the... Lady, listen to me first. They are too noisy and they will traumatize my child. Lady, please. No, I'm not finished yet. Think about my child. He's only 12. I really don't think he was that age. I don't want to see those tramps here in my building. I'm tired and my child is too. I want them gone by now. Can I talk now? Yes. What's the problem? Aren't you supposed to be sending someone to take those tramps out by now? Why aren't you getting your job done? I'm 15, lady. You called a house phone number, not the police. Then why didn't you tell me? You didn't even let me talk. And then she cuts the call. She called again, but my mum answered and told her the number. I asked my mum if it was a lady that sounded mid-40s. She said yes, and I told her the story, and we had a good laugh. Happy face. Posted by user Peppermint Death. Titled, Sitting in a beautician's chair with foil all over my head definitely meant that I worked there. I was at a hair salon getting my hair dyed as the colour was fading and growing out. I do funky colours and was currently doing orange. So I was sitting in her chair with that big black cape thing with orange dyed hair in between foil pieces. My stylist was working on something in the back while I waited for the colour to soak in. She was also the only one working at that time, so I was the only one in the main store. So lady was waiting at the front counter, around the corner from where I was at. She kept sighing and making noises. Eventually, she went around the corner and very loudly yelled hello at me. When I didn't pay attention, she came over and started yelling at me about how she had been waiting for a long time and I was just sitting there doing nothing. She went on for about 5 minutes about how she needed my help and how selfish and lazy that I was being. The stylist then came out and asked what she needed. The lady just huffed and bitterly told her that her coworker was refusing to help her. When the stylist told her that I was a customer, she yelled that I could have just said that to begin with, even though I told her that several times. She eventually left after yelling about how my stylist should have stopped in the middle of my hair and did hers, as I was just a lazy kid that didn't need their hair dyed and she needed her hair styled for an important event. Yeah, no dice, lady, no thanks. Posted by user Shark Queen. Titled, I'm not allowed to buy here. I work in a private preschool. I wear a green badge on a lanyard, and since the pandemic, I usually wear scrubs to work that I can throw off when I get home. Homemade, yay, sewing. Anyway, today I had to swing by a small fart on my way home to pick up some groceries, but mostly to visit the pharmacy and get my mother-in-law some insulin. It's summer and hot. Today I had chosen not to wear a shirt under my scrubs because of the heat, so I wasn't able to change like usual. Still, my crayon and rainbow pattern top and bright turquoise pants look nothing like small fart blue vest and khaki pants uniform, and I'm headed straight home after, so I thought no big deal. I hit the pharmacy first because they close earlier than the rest of the store, and there is always a line. I am up after one elderly gent, and I'm just kind of people-watching, going over my list in my mind. Suddenly, I feel a tug on my shirt. This is uncomfortable for 2 reasons. 1, social distancing is still a thing, right? And 2, did I mention it was hot? I'm sweaty as hell. I turn and see this octogenarian Karen, octogenarian, poking her meaty finger at me. At least she had a mask on. You're in line? I look down at the floor, where there is an actual line painted, and say, yes. She clicks somehow, like an insect. That's great. You know, you employees should let us paying customers go first. We have more important places to be. I don't work here, ma'am. Don't you ma'am me, you stupid teenager. I'm pushing 40 by the way. I'm not in that much of a hurry, so I try to kill her with kindness and say, I'm sorry, I really don't work here, but if you're in a hurry, you can go ahead of me. You bet I can. And she practically pushes me out of the way, and I scoot back to the next dot that's 6 feet away. The lady behind her, who's now behind me, gives me a what can you do shrug. So I wait, and she goes up to the pharmacist and immediately starts bad-mouthing me to the woman, who obviously doesn't give a flying fig. She just glances up at me and apologizes to the woman for the wait. The Karen gets her drugs and starts to leave, but suddenly stops. I'm ready for another tirade, but it's my turn, so I kind of step around her. As I do, she starts walking again and leaves. I do what I came to do. The pharmacist doesn't even mention the incident, so neither do I, and then go get my food and also leave. I don't know if she was pausing to maybe apologize to me, or if she had more to say, or just wanted another look and realized she had been wrong. I guess dealing with toddlers all day has made me Karen-proof? She was pretty mild though. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something that you didn't know before. If you haven't already, please do feel free to click that like button, as it really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already and you loved today's video, please feel free to subscribe. I would love it a lot. Also, big shout out to all my Patreon members and channel subscribers. You guys are all up on the screen right now. I love you. I love your faces. Also, I love seeing you guys all chatting down below in the comments. It brightens my day to see the stories that you guys share and just the kind words you guys always have for my videos, as well as everyone else in the videos. I love you too. But honestly, your ongoing support means the world to me, and I just love it so much that you guys are able to support a career for myself that I invest so much time into. And you guys honestly motivate me to work harder each and every day to put more love into the videos for you guys. If you guys have watched this far in the video and you haven't already subscribed on Patreon or become a channel member, that's cool, you don't have to, but there are links down below. You can donate any amount of money, pledge that any month, cancel whenever. I'm completely cool with it. It's just there for you to support me if you'd like to go the extra mile. And I'll go the extra mile for you guys by putting out new amazing content every single day. With that said guys, I really hope you have a good day, night, sleep, bath, time at work, whatever you're up to today. This has been Markee. I'll see you in the next amazing video. Bye.